Gentlemen, I screwed the intro up and I didn't have the microphone on. Hopefully everybody is well this evening. We've only managed the intro one time. I think I've done it 4 or 5 times now, and I've managed to do it once correct. Hopefully everybody's well. This fine Monday evening, I gotta move something around really quick. There we are. Hello, there's some people early. Chris, not really so much early. We're on time. Good evening, gentlemen. And this live stream is sponsored by 2 people now. We have BFP Gear, longtime sponsor. Carbon Paintball, brand new sponsor. But we're going to talk about BFP Gear real quick, and then we will move on to, today's scheduled programming. BFP Gear always have your brand new, cool paintball gear in stock. And they just got HK Army's brand new Hex power insert barrel. These things are just kind of crazy. They have this, crazy ass milling on the back. They take those power inserts that, most companies are using. We can see right there, they're coming with 8 inserts. But they also have the carbon drive, or the DRV, we should probably say. The newest electronic hopper in a variety of cool colors. I really like the freaking solid red. I've also really always wanted a pink, solid pink hopper. If you're like me and crazy and you want a solid color hopper, bfpgear.com are your place. There's a link in the description. And, make sure to support the sponsors and just the companies that make this whole thing possible. Because really, without BFP Gear and now Carbon, I probably couldn't manage to do this thing. So without them, I probably wouldn't be doing this. We probably would be doing it, but it would be much more difficult. So shout out Carbon and BFP Gear. We'll talk about Carbon a little bit. And Mike, hello. Hopefully everyone, I already said this, some brains. I hope everybody's well. Thankfully, the Super Bowl, I didn't really care. Normally I'm watching the Super Bowl because it's it's a Super Bowl. But I don't know. I just didn't care this year. I didn't even watch it. I watched the first quarter and was like, this is going to be a bunch of field goals. We were right. Halftime show was great. You guys watched the All-American halftime show? I watched that. Very interesting, to say the least. Yeah. So we're going to talk about today. We have, for a while I've kind of wanted to, I kind of thought it'd be cool for the NXL to bring back the penalty box. I just really like the penalty box. We're going to go over and talk about the penalty box and, if it should come back. We have Leverage made some moves. We have some weird clothing situation that happened 2-3 years ago now that was brought up on the Spick and Span show. Talk about that for a little bit. Ryan Moorhead had a podcast, apparently. We'll talk about that. Joy Division and Red Legion are doing some crazy practices. I just want to show a few videos of that. And we have some more other, content-y things we might talk about, like videos that hit the internet and stuff like that. Streambot. Streambot is, whatever the hell is going on there, is not working correctly. I noticed everyone's names are different colors too. I didn't change people's names. YouTube's doing some stuff. So, penalty boxes. We'll just jump to penalty boxes. And for people that are not aware, or, maybe you're just not paying, super attention like I am, the National X-Ball League, the current pro division, in this, paintball, I'm pouring myself coffee, this current paintball thing we're doing, there's been a lot of different pro divisions. I'd say the 2 most recent are going to be the PSP, Pure Sports Promotions, that stood for, and then the NXL, the National X-Ball League. The PSP ceased operations right in the middle of 2015, and they were using the penalty box. The NXL took over, being that Major Paintball League, now known as Major League Paintball, in 2015, and they got rid of the penalty box. There has been an evolution of the penalty box over the years. Penalty box is right here. That's not what I wanted to do. This is also still not. That was the original incarnation of the penalty box. You can see it's just a box, kind of set at the start gate, surrounded by net, which was kind of cool because you could see out of it really easy. You know, you could just kind of look at it and see where everyone was going. So if you were in that penalty box, you can see everyone and where everyone's going. On the screen right there, that is infamous. We can see John Richardson, Travis Lemansky, probably Justin Swartz. I'm going to go with Nikki Cuba and probably Zach Wake, maybe over on that far side. The penalty box, though, the way you came out of the penalty box was you can kind of see how the net looks a little funny on the side that faces the field. That's because there's just a flap. The net just opens up and you just like run out the front of it. That's how you'd exit the penalty box. A little bit later on, they created this deal, which provided a little bit more protection for the player back there. Maybe not protection, it just made it harder so you couldn't see, we'll say. So it provided, I don't know, less sight or something. It looked a little better. It's certainly a little like higher quality and just looks considerably better on there. That's Brian Duffy in the penalty box. Duffy, I just came across this video and found the first person in the penalty box, and you were in it. DMG. So that was it right there. And this one was a little bit more interesting because you didn't just go out the front, right? You could go out either side. So you could kind of trick whoever you were like was shooting at that penalty box, because the penalty would run out and you'd have to leave the penalty box just like hockey. But people would shoot right at the middle of that net, and it'd be really easy to shoot the players coming out of the box. So they made it so you had to go out of either side. So you could kind of pick which side, and then the players that were shooting at that person coming out of the penalty box also had to pick a side. So it wasn't like predetermined that you were just going to shoot that guy coming out of the penalty box. A little later on, they made what they're going to call, or we've called the fort. The fort. And, you know, it just looks like a fort. It still has that big old block in the front, but a little more protection on the sides. And it was pretty much the exact same thing. It just had those protections on the side. One of the things that people didn't like about these inflatable penalty boxes was that you could actually shoot bounce shots off them. A lot of guys were trying to like shoot the box and have it go ricochet back into back center. So you just shoot straight at it and hope it ricochets and just goes in back center. So not really much of a glancing bounce shot like we're typically seeing, like if you're shooting off a Temple or a Dorito or something. This one was designed to hit and just come right back. Or not designed, but people were using it like that, to hit it right in the center and have it kind of like trampoline and come right back into that back center. So they did use multiple penalty boxes. I think that this is probably the coolest. I think that I like the way that that looks the most. Or even that works as well, because you can kind of still go out both sides on those. I don't know about the straps holding it together, though. That's a little ghetto. They didn't use this for very long, though. This flat style was in use for much, much longer. And currently, the penalties that we do have, at least we'll say in the pro division, this kind of carries on throughout the divisional teams too, though. There's those 3 penalties, right? You get a 1-for-1 for a minor. So they're pulling you, one more player, you get a major penalty. They're going to pull you and 2 players. A gross major penalty, which is like, you know, wiping a goggle hit and playing on, or like, you know, crazy stuff, will get you a 3-for-1 where they pull you and 3 of your teammates. So those are the current penalties. These right here are the previous rules when the most recent 2015 PSP penalty rules. For a minor, only 1 player would get pulled, but you'd spend 1 minute in that penalty box. So soon as that penalty was pulled, you know, say the ref's like, minor penalty, you have to run over to the penalty box. And soon as you cross into the penalty box, that 1 minute timer will count down. If the opponent wins that point, that penalty will wash away. And it's just kind of like, you know, just a player got eliminated. that doesn't really like affect that point as much because the winning team did win, or the team that didn't get the penalty did win. The major penalty, same similar idea, except for, again, you get 2 players pulled. You get that one player that offended, and then their closest teammate. But this time it's 2 minutes in duration, and then it does carry over. So if the team that didn't get the penalty wins that point, and there's, a minute left on the penalty, it will carry over into the next point. So that means you're going to have to start down 2 bodies. You will start with a 3-on-5. And then the gross penalty, same concept, except for that offending player does have to go off the field for 10 minutes. So they don't even go to the penalty box. I'm actually not sure. I tried to look this up because I was like, okay, if you get a penalty, they're going to pull you and your closest teammate on a gross penalty, right? So you 2 walk off the field. And I think what happens is you 2 go to the penalty box. And then after that point starts, the player who committed the penalty goes off the field and another person goes out and sits in the penalty box. And then you're not allowed back on the field for 10 minutes of game time. I think that's how that works. So this, I think, penalties just add a whole different dimension to paintball. We will go here, and this is probably one of the better just examples of the penalty box in use. We've used this footage. Oh, come on! I thought I had like a actual timestamp on the video. I do not. Not that critical. But the Tauntaun, yeah, we did make that Tauntaun video. So all those Tauntaun players are in the penalty box. And, the Tauntaun's got a bunch of major and minor penalties, and we're playing like 3-on-2s for a very long time. And it just makes it exciting. Without the penalty box, this match would not have been as interesting. Chicago Aftershock were down a lot of points in this match. We gotta find so much chaos happened. They were down 3-0 and were able to almost bring it back because of all of those penalties. I think it just increases the excitement. There's a couple, interesting things. You get players sprinting down the field to try to preserve that penalty time. Like you can see Aftershock just go for it. Because they're up on those bodies and they have all those penalties, they're just sending it down the field to try and keep those penalties on the board for the Tauntauns, to keep those players in the box. So it really encourages extremely fast gameplay, at least from the team without the penalties. I'm reading my notes really fast. I put drama. You have the defense team trying to hold until the penalty is over. Because you do have that, right? You have that team like here on Aftershock trying to really push. And then you get the Tauntauns that are just kind of sitting there trying to defend, trying to burn off all of that time. So it just adds a little bit more dimension to it as well. One of the things that we might not like about the penalty box is that it kind of does make these wins automatic. Like right here, Aftershock and the Tauntauns did play 5-on-2 for quite a while. The Tauntauns did manage to win a 5-on-2, which is crazy, but maybe it was a 5-on-2, maybe it was a 4-on-2. Either way, very impressive by them, but then it didn't work ever again, and they just lost like 5 points in a row. Because it's so difficult, to play a 5-on-2, it's just ridiculous. So you're going to win most of those, where you're down a lot of bodies. I think it's also quite a bit cheaper not to do it, right? I mean, one of the difficulties with the penalty box is it just requires more infrastructure. It requires more work from the referees. I mean, they have to be watching the penalty box. They have to make sure you get into the penalty box. There's got to be someone like counting down the time somewhere. You got to add another clock to the scoreboard. There's just a lot more moving parts to it that's going to make it more difficult and like just more expensive. So that's probably honestly one of the reasons the NXL originally went away from the penalty box, is just to make it a little simpler, make the game a little bit easier to manage by not having the penalty box. And then maybe, one of the things I said was it does create that drama where one team's trying to like hold and one team's pushing, sort of. But we could also maybe not like that. Maybe we don't want to see 5-on-2s and stuff like that. Maybe we do want to see 5-on-5 matches more often. Because really, I think that you're going to get the better games from those 5-on-5s. But again, if you're trying to cheat and you're getting penalties, then, maybe you deserve to be at a disadvantage or something like that. Yeah, one of the things too about the penalty box is, a lot of players do just get shot when they come out of that box. Because up on the scoreboard, you can see the clock ticking down. It's like 2 seconds left. And then everybody just starts shooting the sides of the penalty box, hoping to get that guy that's coming out. But I don't know. I like it. I really enjoy the penalty box. I think that it would be cool if it came back. I don't know if it should or not. I've just, I've always kind of liked it. I think it just is kind of cool. It was always really fun when everybody would yell, shoot the box, and everybody would like shoot the penalty box and stuff. So I kind of want the penalty box to come back. That's my penalty box segment. What do you guys think? Penalty box? No penalty box. Let's make a little poll. Let's make a poll. Let's at least say, let's just do it. Penalty box? Penalty box? Yes or no? I think that's a good yes or no. Oh, look at YouTube did fix up some stuff here. Swoop, went away. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't know if the NXL are ever going to, fully embrace the penalty box again, but I wish they kind of would. I'm obviously rearranging this really fast because I'm crazy and it's going to bother me. I want to be able to see the, whatever up there. But I totally get, why the NXL, probably didn't want to, so. Look how open the field is. Just remove some bunkers to speed up games. That's what I'm saying. Guess who's been saying that? About a year, I think. The field is crazy open. Let's just go back to, here, and you can see how much more open the field is. I mean, look at the field. It's there's not a bunch of bunkers everywhere. But I don't know, I'm kind of torn whether adding more bunkers or not adding more. We shouldn't probably add more, but leaving it like it is or, reducing the amount of bunkers, because there's kind of arguments either way. We don't really know what would happen. That's kind of why I'd just like to try it, I was on the PTG podcast recently and kind of talked about that. I told Marcelo and Tyler they're just entertainers, which, I don't know. I thought about that later on, and I was like, man, that seems like belittling their accomplishments, or I don't know, something. That's not what I meant to do. But, if I was in charge, I was like, yeah, we'd be using pump guns this tournament, and then we'd remove half the bunkers, and then we'd switch to 15 one tournament, and I'd just try all kinds of crazy stuff just to see what would happen. But I think that there's arguments both ways, right? We have the field with a ton of bunkers, which makes it easier to move around because you just got to, go forward 5 feet versus these layouts where you'd have to run 20 feet to get to the next bunker. So having more, kind of makes it easier to move around. But at the same time, it's for me, one of the things that's hard about having all the bunkers is you just don't really know where anyone's at a lot of the time because there's so many bunkers. It's just kind of looking around. It's well, I hope that guy's there. Nope, he was in that bunker. There's just so many things on the field that it's a little bit easier to lose people and stuff like that. But I certainly wish we just had a little fewer bunkers like it used to be. I would like it. What is everyone talking about? Definitely. Old Soul says, definitely not like the center brick. The beams could be used to build the box. It's very true. There's 14 snake beams. Just use all the beams to make the box and we don't have a snake anymore. Some brain says the NXL needs to cater to spectacle. I do kind of agree with that. The players are just consumable extras. I wouldn't say that. Kind of, though. Could do a one-on-one side penalty deal. I don't know how Call of Duty exactly works, but I could see that. I'm totally with you on the spectacle part. I kind of like, that's kind of why I'm like, dude, bring back 15. Let's see what happens when we shoot 15 balls a second. Chris Raymond says, a shared penalty box where eliminated players must continue gunfighting or tiebreaker wait. I don't know what that means. You're gonna have a weigh-in? Nick Slovic says there's no big bunkers. Nick! I was talking about you at the paintball field the other day. Talking about you coaching protocol. That is true, though. Nick, that's a good point, though. I don't know if there's more or less bunkers. That is very true. I don't actually know that. We always say that they need to remove bunkers. But, like, that's the wrong one. But if we look at the actual field, it's like, I don't know, are there more or less bunkers? Because you are right when you said there's no big bunkers. So they don't just like take up as much space. I mean, obviously there's way less snake beams. I mean, there's 14 snake beams now. So, I mean, just adding all the snake beams like makes it, crazy. But I'll actually do that. I should actually like count the bunkers. There's also a lot of people that have complained about the PSP. The PSP, when they went, this is 2013, so this was actually the year that they made the snake much, much smaller. The snake used to be, the beams used to be a lot taller. They used to be like, I don't know, that much taller, like 6 inches or 8 inches taller or something like that. Yeah. So maybe even making the freaking snake beams taller. I don't freaking know. Ooh, add the cow to the middle. That would be cool. There kind of is a one-on-one arena, because Oliver's doing the, whatchamacallits, right? The hell are they calling that? The Pro Tour? No, not Pro Tour. That was like HK's thing. World Tour? Shit, I don't know. The Hormesis Duel? Yeah, there we go. The Duel and the Joust. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we're going to end the poll. Nick, if you're here, I love you. I said a comment about coaching protocol. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. The Duel. How many people voted? 32. I can only get like a freaking 10th of you to vote on polls ever. I get it. And I'm watching. I'm normally watching this stuff on a TV, so I'm not even near a computer. Ooh, the Stay Puffed. You know what's funny? Chris, you say Stay Puffed. I always thought that was State Puff when I was a kid from like Ghostbusters. I thought it was the State Puff Marshmallow Man. Stay Puff makes way more sense. Stay Puffed. Okay. What else happened this week? We have not that. We have Scott Graham making an appearance, getting added to the Leverage roster. Scott Graham, he's one of the guys I've seen forever, right? He's always around like hustling and on teams and playing tons of paintball. One of those guys that's constantly working and like has been on a bunch of semi-pro teams and has traveled all over the US and been on different teams and stuff. Has played pro for 4 teams. I have the Ironman, NYX, and the Bears. I believe he played semi-pro last year, but I can't, the freaking PB leagues is hard to use. He is from Ottawa, Canada. He's a Canadian. He looks like it. I don't know. It's that mustache. Damn, I had a mustache a couple weeks ago, remember? I want to bring my mustache back. Found a home on Leverage. Hopefully Leverage does well this year. Always rooting for these underdog teams. They also picked up another gentleman, but he played last year, so I don't quite understand how they added him to the roster. Scott Graham. Leverage, that's all. Isn't it spelled dual? I think it is spelled dual. I think you are spelling it correct. It's not dual. Pew Pew Mike. I thought he said Dubai at first because the L kind of looks like an I. Like threw me off. I'm like, Dubai? Dubai? Dual? Dual, plural? Duals? Duals? Duels? Oh, spin bike. You know, I got a message from some Chinese company. Dude, like, I swear, like, I don't know. Every other day, I get, like, some nonsense email from, like, some, like, weird Chinese company, like, every day. And they're like, hey, you want to collab on, like, a product? And, man, did I already delete that email? And one of these, like, random companies sent me, like, a thing for a spin bike. And I was like, sure, send me one over. None of them ever reply, though. Because I'm always like, yeah, it looks really cool. Why don't you send me one over? Because I can't review it, and I'm not going to review it until I know if it's good or not. And I never intend to review any of them. I just hope they send me, like, free random shit. It's never worked. I've only gotten, like, one thing. I got a pair of, like, heated leg warmer thing, like, compression, like, air. They, like, fill up with air on your legs, and then, like, pulse, and, like, they're heated and stuff. I always just send them, like, yeah, no one ever even replies, so. But one of them, I sent a message yesterday, was for, they had a bike that connected to, like, Zwift and, like, all that stuff, and a treadmill. Maybe we'll get a bike. Never collab with Temu Paint. I got a Temu paintball mask right here. Yes, don't buy Temu paintball masks or, you know, AliExpress or whatever. Here's one right here. It's totally, you know what it looks like. It's a total knockoff of probably the i5, more so. Is that more i5 in the front or i4 in the front? I don't know. Maybe i4. Totally knockoff. I was curious, though. The lenses, like, I don't know what fucking lenses are like. The lenses seem really good. I'm curious. I don't know what I was going to do with this. I bought this years ago, and I was going to, like, I don't know, do some sort of, like, don't buy a mask on the internet or try to break it or something like that, but I've had it for a very long time. It just sits over there and holds the light up. This is too much. It's a stand for a light. Yeah, there's all kinds of that, like, crazy cheap stuff on, like, you know, the internet. It's not the greatest to use. So I would stay away from it. You know who doesn't make bad paintball masks? We're going to do our Thank God Carbon is sponsoring the live stream segment. I got to move my mouse over here, though. Carbon do not make bad paintball masks. But, you know, we're going to talk about the Drive really fast. You know, if you guys are not familiar with the Carbon Drive is the newest electronic paintball hopper. It comes with this cool case right there. You get a lid, you get a USB cable right there. One of the things I like about these, and like my test for a hopper, is if I can take it apart with one hand. You know, if I'm on the field, I gotta be able to, like, you know, remove the freaking tray and then put it back together really easy. Look at how simple and fast. Man, my computer opened a window weirdly. What's kind of cool about the Drive is they feed faster, or as fast as the fastest hopper on the planet, the die rotor. But what's cool about them is you can turn down that drive and then make them very easy on paint just as easy on paint, we'd say, as any hopper out there. What I really like too is look how fast it turns on. It's like instantaneous. You get the screen on the back with the game timer. You can adjust the settings on there. You can see your battery level. You get 30,000 shots on a battery, which is crazy. I do like one-handed disassembly. You get all those attachments and all those things. Not attachments. I was going to say that, like, you know, this front area looks like you could put something. Wink, wink. So, you know, maybe look for some cool attachments in the future. The carbon drive, not made poorly. Thank you, Carbon. They gave me this. I'm going to use it. You know, you can buy Carbon products wherever you want. Carbon products, you can buy them at carbonpaintball.com. You can buy them at bfpgear.com. There's a link in the description to buy any of that stuff. It is heavy. You know, I was thinking about that. It is a heavier hopper. I was looking at, like, this is not the first time we've, like, looked at the drive, or the DRV, and it is definitely heavier than the other hoppers, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not like dramatic. It depends on the hopper though. Like if you're comparing it to like a Revolution, it's going to be heavier than a Revolution, but it's not really all that much heavier than like the Spire. It's only like a few ounces. It's not even really noticeable. It's like when you put you put it on a gun and you put like paint in the hopper and it's all loaded up. It's like, I don't know. It's not even that much different, but it is heavier for sure. One of the reasons it's heavier is because it has like metal everywhere. Not metal everywhere, but that whole like bottom, you know, feed tube is aluminum. So it's just like way more stable on the gun. So it's on the gun. This part's just more rigid. So it's not going to like flex and move around as much as some of the other hoppers will. So that adds a little bit of weight. I like it. Heavier than a Halo B? I don't know, actually. That I don't know. What am I doing here? I'm like weirding out this case. I don't think so, though. I actually don't know. I couldn't tell you. I was looking around. I think I have a Halo somewhere. I don't know. It's in there somewhere. Yep. Now what? You can give the live stream a like if you're here. You know, you might as well. You're here, give the live stream a like. It's very helpful when people like the live stream. I'm going to put my mat back. There we go. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, there it is. I'm like looking around to how I switch screens. So this was brought to our attention on the Spick and Span show by... This was brought to my attention on the Spick and Span show last week. Kyle Spicka brought this up. This is a company called Vetements. They're a high-end fashion company, very high-end clothing. I mean, these pants right here are $500, and the t-shirt's like $300. You know, it's like crazy expensive shit. That outfit right there is $1,000. But what's crazy is some of you might recognize some of these things. You know, that looks like a Dye i5 or an i4. I get the freaking nose mixed up. That's an i5, right? I don't know, I can't tell from the front. i5, i4 paintball mask. And those pants look awfully like a Dye product, too. Very weird. You got a paintball jersey on? Like, what? I love how the arms and the sleeves are so long. This one is not a Dye mask, though. That one right there is a Virtue Vio Ascend. Vetmont or Mont? Vetmont. Vetmont? Okay, Vetmont? Okay, whatever it is. The company that starts with a V. They, dude, they just ripped off a bunch of dye stuff. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say this name in real life, even. You know, I've known about this company for a long time, but I've never heard anyone speak it out loud. It's just crazy. It's like a direct copy. Like, you look at this. Now, let's pause it on. Let's pause it, and then if we go. Damn, why is it. Motherfucker. Pause, bitch. Okay. If we go here. I'm opening up a window, a browser window. Just look at this shit. You know, it's like they're just freaking dye pants. Like these pants, it's like, you know, they're just dye pants. I tried to find the dye paintball pants from 2002 or 2003. That's more what they look like. But those pants are so old, I just couldn't find good pictures of them. But it's just very interesting that they just like ripped off a paintball company. It's like so weird. It's very odd. I don't get it. Yeah, they talked about it when Sloviak was on, and Nick was like, yeah, I think we knew about this stuff. They just never, I don't know, said anything or something. It's crazy to me. It's just very weird. You can even see, like, there's padding on the chest, like, you know, on the shoulders and stuff. Like, crazy. I mean, I'm assuming dye didn't do anything because, I don't know why, you know? Like, it's just, why? You know, it's like dye wouldn't, you know, what are they going to spend $100,000 on a lawyer and like sue them and like what? It's only one season too. So it's like this stuff comes and goes. It's not like they're, you know, redesigning the whole company based off it. It's just very weird. Very weird. I just found it odd. That's about it. Crazy stuff. I also found today, I didn't realize, you know, I've seen some of these on YouTube, or not YouTube, but on Instagram every once in a while, like shorts, like some of these shorts, but I didn't realize, I keep seeing them like this, or like with this gentleman, Hal. I do not know his name, sorry, Hal. All right, I'm not super familiar with Hal. He does look familiar, but I'm not really sure why. But him and Ryan Moorhead, right there, that's Ryan Moorhead, have a podcast called The Rowdy Ones. There's actually a link to the YouTube channel in the description of this video. Yeah, I just had no idea. So, you know, more paintball stuff, more paintball podcasts, always good. Actually, more paintball content is always good. Let's get some more like long form content stuff like me. I want more people making, you know, in-depth paintball videos. I want someone like giving me a run for my money. Make me like, ooh, that's cool. Make me like feel like I'm bad or something. I don't know. So go check it out, the Rowdy Boys. The Rowdy Ones. I haven't actually listened, but I keep seeing, like I said, I keep seeing like, you know, reels and stuff, but I didn't realize it was actually like Moorhead's podcast. I thought like he kept being a guest or something like that. But yeah, Ryan Moorhead has a new podcast, and he's someone we haven't heard talk a lot. He was recently on Dan Shelley's podcast, the Shelda podcast, and he talked a lot on there too. And it was kind of like cool, just because, you know, he's a guy that we don't really hear talk that much. He's just haven't done a lot of interviews, and just yeah, hearing him talk's cool. That's about it. I really wish well, I guess that's what I wanted to do. I shouldn't say that I don't want to do that. How was the PTG interview? Haven't checked it out yet, Chris Martin asks. Good. Oh, you know what? I just realized we can't see the whole chat now because I like rejiggered it and it's like wonky now. The whole bottom we can't see. Oh, shit. This is what happens when you like do stuff live. Oh well, we'll leave it. Good, yeah. About it. It was fun. Yeah. About all. It was really early in the morning. I mean, it wasn't that early. It was 8:30, which is pretty early, I think, to do that. Yeah, it was just in and out. Marcelo had to leave. Marcelo had to go to physical therapy for his knee. So we only were there for like an hour. It was only like an hour and something, hour and some change. It was good though. I'd like to, I should probably start doing more of that stuff, you know, trying to like network and like, you know, do the stuff I'm bad at. So, what are my views on Will Ball for Soup? Scotty, I think. I don't know. I don't really, nothing really. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I truly don't know. You know, I think for a while there, a long time ago, like a couple of years ago even, people were all like upset with him and stuff because they felt like he would like, I don't know, release information or talk about products or something like that that weren't released, or like he was lying about stuff or something like that. I don't really know, you know, I don't know, because his whole deal has been, not his whole deal, but one of the things that he's like known for, I should say, is like, you know, releasing information that like no one knows about yet, you know, like coming up with scoops and like leaks and like stories and stuff like that. And it is interesting, you know, I was trying to do that for a while at one point years ago, and it is interesting and kind of exciting because you get new information and people get excited about the stuff you're releasing. So I don't think that's bad, you know, I don't know. People just didn't like it when he was wrong, or didn't like have the perfect correct information. And I don't know, I feel like he's gotten better. I think a lot of the stuff he's talked about recently have like happened, you know. He talked about the dye goggles coming out, that happened. I don't know, there's been some other stuff too, right? I know a lot of the paintball companies don't like it. So, you know, that's one reason that I kind of, I don't know, especially on here, kind of stopped like looking for rumors and, you know, stuff like that, because it is a constant like game to try to find that stuff. And, you know, a lot of people don't want some of that information out there. So, you know, like there's stuff that I know about companies and things that are happening or things that the league is doing or whatever that I'm not going to tell you guys. Just because, you know, it was told to me in confidence and I don't, you know, I won't talk about it. But I also kind of don't like knowing that stuff, because if I can't talk about it, like, what am I going to do with the information? Kind of, you know, like, it's like, I don't know. So I'd rather, you know stuff that I can talk about, because I don't want to like piss people off. Is the Ether 3 the best in its price point? You know, I think the Ether 3 might be the best paintball gun in the last 10 years or something, you know. It's fantastic. You know, there's nothing out there that is even close to the value of that thing, right? I mean, it shoots just as well as guns that are 4 times the price. So I don't think you can beat it. It doesn't have any of the drawbacks of other inexpensive guns, right? You do have an on-off. You got a lever feed neck. It comes with a really good barrel. The trigger's not as adjustable, but I think it's fantastic, you know. I think that if I played tournaments, I might use an Ether 3. There's something about it. I really like the like inexpensive cheapness of it. Not cheapness, we'll say affordableness. I don't know. I just really enjoy that. Like, something about it is just kind of cool to me. Better to get that over the 180R? I don't know. You know, they're not much different. You know, I think the 180R is a better gun, technically. It is all aluminum, which people like. But again, I kind of like the all composite thing. It's just kind of neat. So the all aluminum thing isn't really like a big deal to me. The triggers are better on the 180R. That you can get different triggers and stuff for them. You can have the screen, obviously, and the 180R might shoot a little bit better, but that's about it. Chris Raymond uses an Ether 2. which is, you know, essentially the same thing. And he says 3-point adjustment is pretty nice on the trig. You gotta get out that protractor though. Do people use protractors in trigonometry? It's been a long time. Will Ball for Soup was just doing what Bretto, who the heck's Bretto? I mean, there used to be like tons of crazy websites that were like news and like crazy information. Remember, like there was back in the day, there was the website called Smack Talk Paintball. Damn, I might have the sound effect. So back in the day, there was the Smack Talk Paintball. I'm trying to see if I have the audio. I like saved that somewhere. Oh my god, I have so much stuff, guys. It's crazy. No, I don't have that. I thought I saved it. We do have this one. You guys might recognize that one. Who can tell me what this is? You're not going to win a prize or anything, but... Pig TV! That's close enough. I take that. I was looking for War Pig, but I'll take Pig TV too. I'll take that. That's a good guess. That's the correct guess. I don't have Smack Talk Paintball though. Smack Talk Paintball there was like a chat room on the side, and like pro players and people would go in there and like say crazy shit. It was like anonymous. It was fun. How long until Field 1 makes another Intimidator to cash in on nostalgia? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't know. Let's just go back this far. Like if we go to the browser, and I think if we type like Field 1 MVP 2, look at that. 2017. That's what I was looking for. Field 1 Bob Long MVP 2 is official. So this is 2017. So since 2017, I'm pretty sure, at least 2018, Field 1 have been saying that they're going to release a new Intimidator. And, you know, I don't know. It's, you know, a long-ass time. In Field 1, have really only released one gun since that time, since like 2017. So who knows? I know they do have it in the works, so we've been told directly from Yosh, you know, looking him in the eyes. He said they were making one. And he said it other places too, so it's not like a secret. But they never said when or whatever. They said they're working on it, and it's, you know, it's whatever. It's in the works, but I would like it too. You know, obviously developing these guns and stuff costs a shit ton of money. I mean, you know, we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop one of these guns. So it's not too surprising that they're, you know, haven't really released a new one yet. I mean, maybe it is. I mean, that's a long time. So it is kind of surprising we haven't seen a new gun yet, but at the same time, it's kind of not, just because it is so expensive. But just having one gun is kind of crazy. I mean, they definitely need to not have multiple versions. They don't have to have like 8 different guns for sale at the right time, but not coming out with like a substantial change to the force. They do have like the version 2 and stuff, but it's not like, you know, a crazy different gun. It's really the same thing, essentially. But it would be cool to have another pop-up valve for sure. Just for sure. I think this is kind of crazy. These just videos are kind of cool. The Stockholm Joy Division in their training facility. Meanwhile, they're obviously in Sweden, so it's cold as shit there. So they kind of need somewhere they can actually try to play a little bit. They don't have the bunkers inflated, obviously. There's like something inside there holding them inflated, which is fine, which really doesn't matter, right? I mean, it doesn't look, they don't look like that crazy shaped. They actually probably are more correctly shaped, not inflated. It's just really cool to see like these different like training places, and it's not just Joy Division. Joy Division are one of the teams that are like heavily using reball. There's also the Russians that are using reball. But look at this place. I mean, this is why you need reball. They ranged like 150 feet in Russia last week. This is cool though. Listen to this.
With compressors outside, but everything's inside.
His or my music? It's his music. This is right away paintball action. They're actually playing though. Real bunkers inside. Look at that lighting, it's just psycho. I mean, the lighting's just like perfect. Kirill's talking, but I can't hear him. I can't understand what he's saying. But it's just kind of crazy, the cool facilities that people have. Here's the location for the AKM Country Club. So that's where they're playing, inside there. And the Russians have been in this facility, this area, a whole lot. They have their outside field, a couple other fields outside of Moscow, somewhere. Is it the Kremlin? Did I just zoom in seriously on the Kremlin? First try. Oh my god. First try, straight to it. First try. That's pretty good. I'm more impressed with that than anything I've done in my entire life. Bang! That's because I'm actually in Russia right now. No, I'm not. This is really cool. Brad is a spy confirmed. I'll take it. I'll go to Russia. No, I won't go to Russia. Maybe a while. Maybe, previously. I'm not really going to go there now. I don't think it's going so right. Yes, Alex. Florida. Obviously, that's not Florida, but this is Florida right here. Nope. God damn it. Ooh, it's taking too long. This is what Florida looks like. This was after the snow in Florida. I'm not making fun of you. I think it was funny because this is what Florida looked like. It was so snow. It was so cold in Florida. This could be Florida. No, Florida. They do practice in Florida though, like before the tournaments and stuff. They do go to like Tampa or whatever. They fly to like Tampa because, J-Rab's not there. J-Rab's not in, Russia. I don't think so anyway. So for them to like practice like full on before the tournaments, they definitely do go to Florida though, for sure. Maybe give Russia a trip a couple years? Or maybe I could go to Russia and then get held there for a couple years. We could also do that. I don't know if they're going to do something in Florida. I'm not really sure because I think they practice. Don't they practice it like they practice it whatever field Jason Edwards owns? I'm blanking on the name of it. I'm pretty sure they practice where Jason's field, Jason Edwards field, kind of outside of Tampa. I think it's like halfway in between Tampa and like Orlando or something. This is what I'm having for supper. Coffee. It's actually a mixture of whiskey and... No, it's not. It's just coffee. I don't know what I'm going to have actually, though. We'll have to find out later. I don't know. Am I going to attend the ICPL? I don't know. That's a good question. Let's look at the ICPL. I know I've talked about the ICPL dates and stuff like that, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure what the dates are going to be. Are they even going to have the dates listed here? I think they're already on APPA now. Damn. It's at Moore Park. Huh. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't want to open a new window. No vertical tabs. I tried vertical tabs. I don't like vertical tabs. So March 6th through the 8th. Because I know like some guys were going to try and go to WCPPL. And it would be fun to go play like... I know some guys wanted to go play Pump. They do have Pump, right? 5-man Pump. Sack Street Fighters. Ambush Paintball Park. Near Camarillo and Fillmore. I don't think I've ever been to Ambush. So they have 10-man, pro 10-man, or 5-man. I don't want to play pro. What? I gotta play pro? Oh no. Amateur? Okay, so amateur and pro. 1,500 big ones. Who do we have on this? Who's on this roster? Becker, DK, Brandon, Mark, Eric, Cliff. That's a pretty good roster. Chris Raymond. Is this the actual... Do they actually want to take this roster? How much is entry for WC? Oh my god, yeah. That's so much less. Jesus Christ. I was like, let's go play 10-man. $1,500 versus 350. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I didn't have plans on it, but man, I really do want to play like freaking 10-man. Look at this ragtag group of people. Doesn't Becker look like Dylan Boyum? It looks like Dylan. Yeah, I didn't have plans on it. And you know, I was also like thinking about going to God damn it. Super Game in Oregon. And then I was like talking to a bunch of people. I was like talking to a bunch of guys who'd gone before, and they're like, yeah, one year we went and it rained the whole time. One year we went and it rained one whole day, and then it was okay the other days. And then I'm like, dude, I don't want to go if it's fucking raining. Like, I don't want to drive 10 hours in it just to be raining. So I was like, I don't know. So I don't know entirely. I was also thinking about maybe Decay of Nations, because Decay of Nations is in September at SC Village, and it won't be, raining in September. It's not going to rain in LA. So I was thinking maybe that too, though. Curtis, a friend of mine goes to Super Game every year, always comes back with an insane welts and a huge smile. Yeah, everyone says how fun it is. For sure. That's why I kind of want to go. I've always kind of wanted to go. I've just never done it. But I definitely don't want to go if it's raining, And it is Oregon. And it is May. So it very well could rain a bunch. Well, I don't know. Probably not going to happen. Are you planning on attending the first event in the Buccaneers Stadium? Nope. I don't go anywhere, you guys. Nope. I don't know. I thought about going. I thought about it. Like, I thought about kind of going or something, and I don't know what I'd do. You know? Like, I don't really have a group of friends that are going. You know, I know a lot of random people there. There's like a guy on that team I know, and there's 2 guys, and then 1 guy on this team. You know, like there's all these random people. So it's like, I don't know. What do I do there? I get there, and then what? I really don't know. You know? Go and just walk around the tournament for 3 days? I could sell merch, but then they'll get all mad at me because you gotta have like a booth and shit. Probably they're like, you gotta pay $10,000, which is I think the going rate to set up a booth at the NXL. So we could sell merch in the parking lot. I could walk around with a coat and like open up my coat and with all cat headbands in it. Yeah, I did think I'm like, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know. You know, watch games for a little bit and then I don't know. Would you go if the league paid you to promote it through your content? Yeah, but I already probably do that. There was some talk about me going or something from them. I still don't know what I'd do there, you know? Yeah, I don't know. On-scene reporting and interviewing vendors. Yeah, but who's going to watch that stuff? You know, like, who's going to watch that stuff? You know, let's go to the YouTube channel. Let's go to the Paintball Ruin My Life YouTube channel. Ooh, Paintball Ruin My Life. And, you know, there we are. There we are. Let's click on videos. You know, you can see, like, I have to be able to get at least, I need to get nowadays these kind of views on videos, right? Like, this one's okay. I feel like this is such better than, I don't know. This thumbnail, I don't know, whatever. But I really want to be able to get these 200,000 views on videos and stuff, right? Because, yeah. And I don't know. Honestly, no one's going to watch, and no one watches any of those like interviews. No one's going to watch like a walk through the tournament. You know, I've done all that stuff before, and yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know. I mean, one thing I do want to do, I have a huge list. Like, let's look at my list of like NXL. I think I have an NXL list. Because at one point I was like, oh, if I went to tournaments, man. Dude, I got this fucking list is so long, and I don't know what I like. Oh my god. Oh my god. NXL. NXL pre-event NXL. Maybe I like got rid of it because I was like, I don't know. I got rid of it or something. Yeah, but at one point I had a big list because I was like, there's all kinds of stuff. Like, I wanted to try and interview players about their gear, you know, like make like a 10-minute or 15-minute video and just have 10 different players in it and be like, oh, what tank are you using? And like how they set their equipment up and how like maybe pro players set their equipment up different or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I really got to think about views, you know, and like for sure, like, you know, any of those style videos, like, you know, walkthroughs or a vendor thing, or, you know, any of that kind of stuff at the tournament is for sure considerably easier than any of the videos I've made previously, you know, not previously, but like these longer documentary videos take forever. So those would for sure be easier. But I don't know. One thing I really do kind of want to do is like a behind the scenes of Major League Paintball. I've thought about that because so many people like don't really understand how much goes into the webcast. So it would be kind of cool, I think, to see that. It would be cool for me to see, and I think that like some paintball people would be interested, but I don't think it wouldn't catch on like any other video, you know? Because a lot of the like, you know, we'll say like these videos, you know, I think these are attempting to appeal to like non-paintball players a little bit too, or people who, you know, played paintball in the past maybe, and this can like, these stories about paintball can kind of help bring people to paintball, or, you know, people are going to watch it that aren't actively playing. Whereas I feel like interviews and like, you know, vendor things, or if I was to do that, like, you know, what kind of setup do you use for pro guys, or the webcast, like behind the scenes thing. I think that stuff is probably going to be mainly more at like geared toward current people that are playing paintball. I mean, I do think like behind the scenes ghost sports would be cool though, just because I kind of find that stuff kind of cool. Like I really like factory tours. Like when I see like companies go like, oh, let's go on a tour of the, you know, fucking factory that makes barrels or something. I think that stuff's cool, but I don't know if people care. A time lapse of the whole field setup would be really cool. That would be really neat. It'd be like, you know, a minute long though. So it's like, I don't know what we do with it. It's so much work for like just a minute long little clip or whatever. So Switch for sure. Matt the Gym Rap's core paint facility tour was cool. I know. I actually, let's go look. I actually am like, Matt does a great job. I mean, he's the other guy. I should say I want somebody else to like do like, or Matt the Gym Tat. He like, I said I want other people to like, ooh, he's got a second one just in case they delete it, probably. That's kind of why I've got this one. Yeah, he does a great job. And he's making like good quality, longer form things too, which is great. Where is the paint video one? It was from what recent? Yeah, right there. I'm surprised it did this well, honestly. Like, it did really well. Because most of these, like, kind of tour videos just don't do as well. So I don't know, you know, maybe I'm completely wrong. I actually contacted them like 2 years ago to do this video. Didn't happen. Yeah, Matt's great. He's been like one of 3 people that have ever been on the live stream, so. Mark, you're always late. Okay. We were talking about the Street Fighter roster. Oh, it's gone. We were talking about the Street Fighter roster for WC. Right there. And I was looking at 10-man. I was like, oh, 10-man would be fun, but it's like $1,500 versus like $350 for entry. So I was like, is this the actual roster they want to take down there? These riffraff people. I feel like, am I missing someone? I feel like I'm missing Lance or something, maybe. I feel like Lance would go on there. Bondo? Who is Bondo? Am I like not knowing paintball people? I'm like, people need to make shit. And I'm like, there's hella people doing it. And I'm just like not aware. What am I going to search for? If I search Bondo, what's going to happen? If I search Bondo paintball. Let's go here. I've just missed, you know, that's not surprising. I miss all kinds of shit. I actually don't watch a lot of paintball stuff. So there's that. But then, you know, sometimes I'll search here, I'll go like paintball, I'll like look for cool stuff. And we'll like, you know, do it out to, I don't know, I can't, this week. I do that sometimes and I'll look for like cool stuff that's happened. People posting stuff. I should say Austin, he does too. There are people, okay. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. There's us again. Jackson Freitas posted something. Oh. I just feel like I see a lot of comments and stuff. Did I not subscribe? I totally meant to. Someone said you subscribe at the top or something. I just did, right? I was like, I thought I did. Did I not? It says subscribe, so I had to have. I don't know. Central Texas. There's a lot going on in Texas. I mean, Texas is like going off with paintball right now. Crazy. I don't know, Mark. How do I feel about the butthole bunker? I don't know. I've never played it. How do you feel? You've played it. It looks really big. Like it was set up at the field this weekend, and it just looks really big. It just seems like really big. That's all. It just looks huge, which, you know, more bunkers. Oh, can I subscribe? I'm probably subscribed to myself. Am I not? I might not be because I don't want to see this stuff in my feed. So the one thing is kind of crazy. It really is that like a fortress, right? It's crazy when you get to like that, you know, edge. It's all like a 90-degree angle. You can just like hunker down on the inside of that, and like they have to like come around the bunker, like all the way around, like inside the thing to shoot you. So it could be a really way, like a good way to, for sure, hide. It's going to be definitely difficult to shoot some people out of that. That's for sure. What time's the sunset? I'm going to look at the sunset real fast. I wanted to try to do something outside while I had a teeny bit of light left. We might not have any light left. Sunset, 5:30. We should be okay. We should be okay. What else do we got to talk about in here? You know, I don't have any of this cool stuff up, but maybe, you know, if you're perusing for some cool headbands. God damn it. It's not. It's all messed up. I gotta fix this. Son of a bitch. I was gonna say go check out the Paintball Ruin My Life store and buy some cool headbands. Let's try it again. The problem is I changed, all of this is on an external hard drive, and I changed the name of the hard drive. So I got to go back through this and like update. I got to update all of this because I need to change the actual location on the like, whatever, the file locations. Shit, so we won't do that. How about this one? This one do anything? Nope, that one doesn't do anything either. How about this one? Woo! Maybe become a channel member. You know, there's a handful of you guys in here that are wondrous channel members. I see Josh. Josh is up there. He's just basing around. He's out there driving around with them 12-inch subwoofers. He's got 4 12-inch subwoofers in the back of his car, just rattling that license plate. You know, you could think about becoming a channel member. It greatly supports this whole thing and helps it keep going. You know, you get a couple things. You get these cool badges, you know. I kind of thought about changing them. They're paintball masks. They're kind of hard to see, but the back one's gold. This one's like a 10-year one or some crazy shit, so no one's probably going to get that one. There's some custom emojis you can use. You get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, 20% off the Paintball Ruin My Life shop, members only live streams. We had a members only live stream last week. There's a members only live stream every Thursday. The first Thursday of the month. There is a members only Discord chat rooms. You know, Discord today announced that they're going to be requiring identification to view some content on Discord. So you're going to have to give them your identification and have them scan your face. I don't know about all this new stuff happening on the internet. I don't like it. One thing I do like, people that are channel members. Yeah. I think ICE is going to be trying the Discord. I think the federal government's going to try and track you. You know, TikTok's new terms of service said they were going to try. They were going to start tracking immigration status, which is interesting. You know, I don't know. I don't know. Guys, it's going to hell in a handbasket. We could talk about how difficult it is to think about starting a business in this current climate we're in. Let's not do that. What other cool topics do we have? We got some other stuff we can talk about. Let's go here. Actually, I don't know. Maybe we talked about everything. There's this cool video from Paintball Fit that it's just a bunch of raw footage from World Cup. Not a bunch. It's only one game. I mean, it's a bunch of footage. A bunch of raw footage filmed by The Verbal. Look how many freaking... Why am I subscribed to... I know I'm not subscribed to these channels. I don't want to subscribe. I'm sorry. It's not like that. I'm subscribed on the other channel. Like if I go to all my other YouTube other channels, I'm subscribed on this one. Am I not? What the fuck is going on? Oh, I'm not subscribed to Verbal. That's what's going on. Sorry, Verbal. That's not intentional. Leave a like too. Just a lot of raw footage from World Cup. I always just like these because you really do get like...
Gold. So purple gold, no silver. Yeah, no silver. Hey, let's go. We got a lot more to prove.
Fuck that silver, dude. It's all about that gold and purple, baby. Go Lakers. Just a bunch of raw footage. And I don't know, I just like these because you actually do get like insight into what, you know, the players are, you know, thinking and talking about because of all this, you know, like that offside lines, like this in the pits kind of stuff. And you get Cyrus freaking out. Yeah, just all the like behind the scenes kind of stuff is really cool. The kind of stuff that like when I first started playing paintball, I would have died for. You know, like I really like this stuff.
No, they went God in money right there. I know, I'm saying if you're dying, we have to double it or something. Okay. If that's what you want.
You know, I say first started playing paintball because I'm a little jaded now, but
But I think the better move to go out. They're gonna do that again. We always can just
my whole being is consumed by paintball. It's cool though, I like it. I like the behind the scenes stuff. There is a link in the description. Go watch it. God damn it. Go Sports should have pit access webcast as an extra for members. They do a pretty good job though in the pits too. They have started that recently this year. It's like way better. I think this year I've definitely noticed they actually started doing that. I feel like they've done a way better job of like, they really are going into the pits just like that. And like, we're getting all the audio from the pits too, which is kind of crazy. You know, there's not a lot of other sports where like you're inside the huddle, like during the match, right? You're not like on the sidelines with like, you know, the quarterback and like the coach and they're talking about like, you know, what offense they're going to run. And you're not in the huddle at an NBA game, you know, they're not like giving you that like audio and you're not seeing what they're talking about. So it is pretty cool. Yes, I did watch the All-American halftime show. Not really. I mean, I watched like, I don't know, I was just curious. And I watched like the part where they were talking about not being political, but then they started doing all this political stuff, which is interesting. I don't know any of the people performing. I was like, who are these people? And you know, it's just on a sound stage. It's like on a sound stage in Atlanta. There's like, what, 100 people there? And then watching Kid Rock's performance was ridiculous. I saw like clips of that online. And like, he wasn't even like pretending to lip sync. They're just like playing the song and he's out there just like jumping around. He'd be like, and he put the microphone down and the song's still going. I'm like, dude, at least fucking try. It's like, what are you doing? So I thought it was funny. I liked how when they came out, they were like, they came out and the first thing they did were like, this one's for you, Charlie. I was like, oh my God. I don't know. These are real people that live in our society. So it's just like, Like, it's like watching The Boys. Like, I know everyone's talking about this, but The Boys, the TV show, it's literally like that. When there's like fireworks and like, it's just like, I mean, I get it's a live performance. That's a little different, but it definitely reminds me of The Boys and how like, it's like weird theater, sorta. It's like so odd. So weird. I think it's hilarious how Kid Rock is on like a Christian station too. Wild. So funny. For a long time, I thought that the Trinity Broadcast Network is where it was airing at. And for so long, I thought that the channel was the Trinity Broadcast Network. And I thought forever it was the Bible Network. I thought that TBN stood for the Bible Network. So the other day I finally found out, hey, it's not the Bible Network. That was funny. I really watched it to just laugh and get a good time out of it. I maybe watched 2 minutes. Man, it was just funny. The Super Bowl halftime show is always crazy, though. You know, just how much effort and money they put into it's crazy. Crazy, crazy. I don't know. I watched like maybe like the first couple 5 minutes of it or whatever. I think I turned it off when Lady Gaga came out. So like, yeah, the first few minutes. Not anything against Lady Gaga. I just left. I went somewhere, so I just didn't watch it. I liked his outfit. I did see the infamous thing. They like, you know, made some little ad or whatever. Yeah. I was going to talk about it on here if it was cool and funny, but it wasn't that cool. Oh, Marks, you like the Gogs, huh? Chris was Snoop P there for his homeboy, Charlie. Who's Snoop P? Snoop P. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, obviously it's terrible what happened, you know. It's just so like, I just hate how everything's like stupid in politics. That's what I hate. You know, it's like fucking Christ. It's just funny when they're like, we don't want to make it political, and like everything they're doing is political. Lady Gaga. Anyway, we're not going to talk about nonsense anymore. I don't know. I don't have any cool other topics to talk about. We ran them all out. I just want penalty boxes to come back. I don't know. I don't necessarily 100% know if I want penalty boxes to come back either. You know, I just think it'd be kind of cool. I just really enjoyed it when it was a thing before. So, I don't know. I just liked them to come back. There's a Lux Air. You going to get your hands on a Lux Air, Chris? Yes. I was going to try today, but one of the problems is like, I gotta wait a little bit because a lot of the guns that like I could get why is I get a charge for $65? What the fuck is going on, dude? My hosting company is going crazy. Not yet. Yeah, one of the problems is that like they just come out, you know, and I always would borrow one from BFP Gear, and a lot of the guns that they get in like the first batches, you know, they're already like pre-sold and stuff like that. So we gotta wait like, you know, probably next week. I'll probably try to go and grab one on Saturday so that we can have one on Monday's live stream, and then we'll like dig it apart right there or whatever. Would you do more product reviews if companies sent you the products and paid you for it? Such as the i3 Pro Lux Air. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yeah, because the whole reason, like, you know, we talked about earlier, you know, making videos. The whole reason, you know, that we were talking about going to, like, Tampa or whatever and making some stuff in Tampa, I need to get views, like we got to have at least somewhere in here. I mean, this is crazy, the gap in videos though, guys. I definitely need to be faster though. Yeah, but I need to be getting something like this on these videos that I'm spending all my time on, because the goal is that I'm able to sell an ad, to a paintball company to try to make some money off these. And if we do reviews and stuff, they just don't do as well, I mean, look at the Lux Idol is 24,000, which is not bad necessarily. But the ones that are better is this one's at 800. That's a big ass fucking difference. This one's at 67, which is way bigger than 24. 150 and 114. Another gun video only at 25. So they're just not getting the views, 28,000. Not like god awful, but it's just much more difficult to do those. Yeah. Pretty much. Chris and I were talking about it. What are you talking about, Mark? How can we protect our paint from milk shaking? We were talking about putting a thick padded tape inside my hopper. What do you mean milk shaking? Like you're having problems with breaking paint in your hopper? POV gameplay. I would put that online. I mean, when I go play, I want to film it, but I'd probably put it up for channel members, really. Milkshaking in your hopper. Like you're breaking paint in your hopper? I don't know, dude. I haven't broken paint in my hopper in so long. Fuck, I don't know. It's been 10 years since I've broken paint in my hopper. I do like that, like, I know what you're thinking, like that like stuff that like thin foam you put like over pipes or whatever, you could cut it and then like glue some on the inside of the hopper. Maybe. But I wonder if the paint's even breaking on the hopper or if it's like breaking on itself in a way. Maybe you probably need to load your hopper more. I mean, really, your hopper probably needs to be more full. Obviously, that's kind of hard in game. If you're halfway into a point, it's kind of hard to care about that. But off the break, you can for sure, make sure hopper's more full or has more paint in it or whatever. Little big man, what'd you say though? You said I kind of caught that. I get the whole views thing, but it kind of sucks when you're not doing reviews. I bought the Ether 3 and got back into paintball after 18 years because of that video. I know. Trust me, I know. I get it. I 100% get it. 100%. The other problem with reviews is like, guns don't come out. Nothing comes out anymore. So, I mean, literally nothing comes out. It's like the last new gun is the Lux Air, and like before that it's the CS3. Really? Like, I mean, I guess the Lux Idol, but it's like, these guns, it's like 3 years and 2 years ago, and it's still, they're just not coming out with stuff. So like, yeah, there's just nothing to review. That's also the problem, They just don't. Stuff's not coming out. I like when reviewers aren't paid 100%, sponsored or selling the product 100%. You don't trust them at all. So that they can be honest about their flaws 100%. That's like one of the problems always with the channel too, is that like, if I was reviewing products, it was difficult to take, money from those companies or whatever. Because it would influence my thoughts on it. 100% would. Like, it just would. That's just how it goes. there's never been a sponsor really on this channel. So either. So like there's never been sponsors until these last year or something like that. So it is hard to review stuff when there isn't stuff. Because when the channel first started, there honestly still weren't a lot of products being released. And now it's like, I don't know if it's worse. It's probably about the same. It's just when the channel started, there were a bunch of things I could just review because I never did it, you know? But now it's like, I don't know. I've reviewed every gun that's out. I think. You know, the Lux Air is probably the only one that I have not reviewed. No, that's not true. The MXR, I didn't do the MXR. Yeah, the Die MXR. Something like that. So make a video once every 3 years. That's pretty much how it is. Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking about like reviews and I'm like, what would I like? What could I do? You know, like I'm thinking about alternative things because there's obviously like a way to build a story. There's a way to make it more engaging than what I've just done in the past. Just here's a review. You know, there's a way to like do it better than that. But, you know, then again, to do it better than that, it's going to be more time, and then I'm going to want a sponsor for the video. So, and buying the guns isn't really a problem either, because, you know, everything on this channel I've purchased. Not everything, but like all the reviews, I've purchased those guns, right? I've bought every single one of them. Not every single one. The Adrenaline Idol, I didn't buy that. They gave me that. And then I just sold it. But everything I've reviewed, I've purchased, really. And then I raffle it off to recoup that money back, too. But there is definitely a way to incorporate, like, story somehow into like a review of a gun, too. Kinda, you know, because I think about like a review and it's like I want to know as much as I can get, like as much information as I can. How's it shoot? How's it come apart? Like, you know, everything. And if we add stories to that, like if I'm like, oh, let's, you know, go here and do this. And then sometimes we'll talk about the CS4 or whatever. It definitely would not be as detailed, you know, it wouldn't be as like, I like this and I don't like this, and this is this and this and this, because it like so takes you out of that storyline and that like timeline that it's hard to do. Maybe it wouldn't be hard to feature the product, but it would be a little more difficult to do like an actual review, maybe. Also, what do you say? With the limited paint format, do you think the NXL will give a 1-pod penalty for an extended hopper, or is anyone going? We're gonna go with going to use an extended shell off the brake or slam it. I don't know. I read that crazy. I think I know what you're saying. Well, one of the problems too is that like, I don't think that they've like said how big the pods can be, right? Like they're like 5 pods in a hopper, but like, what is the actual volume of the pod? Can I just make the pod like this big? Let's just like cut 4 pods in half and glue them together. And then you got like this weird big pod. Like, how big can my hopper be? I don't think that they've like actually said any of that stuff. Because like, great, it's 4 pods in a hopper, 5 pods in a hopper. But if I have a 350 round hopper and like 400 round pods, like, I don't know. It's just kind of odd. I don't quite know. Oh, I get what you're saying. I've never actually, someone said like the R2. Yeah, I've never actually thought. of that, you know, with the high cap, because you can with the R2, you know, make it high cap and then like push it down. But I think most people just leave it up. Something like that. Tim, you're listening to the podcast on Spotify at work. Good. It actually works. I haven't really like talked about that because it's still not working on Apple Podcasts. Apple's being weird. Cool, good. Hopefully it's set up right too. There's a problem I think with the most recent one. Yeah, who knows how big pods are going to be. I assumed they would, you know, be limited, but I don't know, you know, it's like all the pods are a little different. You know, it's like there's two different pods. You know, they hold different amounts. So is like everybody just have to use like Gen X like basic pods, or like can the teams not use like some of their like sponsored pods and stuff? You still got to use like regular old 140 pods, I guess. Awesome. So I'm wondering what happened. I'm having a problem. I'm going to look at Spotify. Play the game, but play the game comes up because that would make more sense. Although I don't have a Spotify account either, too, so okay, that one's working. On my website it's not working. It's being a little weird. I don't know. Good. Compliant. What is this? State California compliant. I don't know. Chris, I don't remember we talked about a long pod video. I remember talking about long pods. I don't remember a video though. I would like to we can make like a YouTube short. I would like to do that. Maybe we could make like they told us we could only use 5 pods in a hopper, so I made these pods, and I can like pull out like a crazy pod somehow. And be like, here you go. You got to use these 4-foot long pods, and you can try to pull them out of your back and like load with a 4-foot pod. That would be funny. How could we do it? I'm like, could we like take pods? Could I like cut the pods in half and glue them together? Or should I look for like some sort of like acrylic, or should we make our own pods? Because you just get like a tube, like a clear tube, you know, and we can just glue the lid on. Because you can get like, I don't know, a lid like this. This would be difficult because it's all molded, but you can just like pop it off and then push it onto like another pod. Maybe? What's Josh saying? Josh, R5 does not offer mechanical or a single trigger. 10.5. I'm looking for a Josh comment. R5 is the best. Adjustable SFR to change shot profile. More consistent velocity. More consistent FPS range, which makes it a better accurate. 100%. I don't understand the more accurate part, but yeah, that's one of the problems. Like Mark said, there's no mechanical frame. That is one of the problems, is that a lot of people like to use the mechanical frames too, and they just don't really have it. Yeah, because you gotta be able to just order like, I don't know, let's go look. Like for like a 3-inch diameter, whoa, can't spell, diameter clear tube? This is what I'm talking about. We just buy like 4-foot long one of these and just like somehow glue a lid to the top. We could just like seal the bottom or something like that. It would be kind of fun. It would be funny. I'm with Rennick. I think that accuracy... Yeah, accuracy is a lot of stuff, but certainly regulator consistency is going to be the most... Probably one of the most important things. You could have good paint. You know, paint can shoot all over too, so it's like... Whatever. But I think having super consistent regulator pressure is pretty important. How about hard tube in your jersey sleeve for an extra 20 balls or so? What do you mean? Why does it have to be hard though? How could we like think about like, how could you get like, you could have like a backpack. You know what would be really funny is if you had like, what's that backpack thing called? The Striker? It's like spelled weird. Backpack or something? Maybe it wasn't called the Striker. Let's search for paintball hopper backpack. I can't type on this computer fast. This thing. So you could have this and see how like you hold the paintballs in there and then you have a tube that comes up. You could hide this on your body. You could wear the backpack. I mean, it's kind of big, but you know, you could hide the backpack, make the tube go up through your sleeve and come out your sleeve. And then you could just like, you know, accidentally, you know, just hold your, you could just hold your hand right here. And, you know, if this was a hopper, there's a hopper in there, you know, you could, and you could just have the tube like feed more paint into your hopper. I like that. You could do that one. I like it. Josh, I'm just saying my FPS, I like to say velocity. Velocity on my R5 is like plus or minus 3, and my grouping is super tight compared to the CS3 and LV2 I had. No mechanical frame, it does suck, but so does a $400 frame. I'm with you on that. I mean, me personally, you know, if I have a CS3, I might just buy an eMech. You know, I mean, you can buy a whole goddamn eMech for, you know, and save $100. So for sure, it is very expensive. That might just be, you know, I don't know, right? Like I've definitely had a lot of guns, right? And you could have like 5 CS3s or 5 R5s or whatever, and take them all out to the radar, all brand new, same paint, same barrel. Let's say you're taking off the tank and using the same tank every time. And there could be one gun that's just like way more consistent than the other ones. Not like way more, but there can be variants. You know, I've had guns before that I don't know why, it was just way better than the other ones. Like I talk about, sometimes people ask my favorite paintball gun I owned, and I really liked my Angel G7 Fly. It just shot so well. It shot so much better than all the other G7s I'd ever had. I mean, that gun shot so straight and like so good. And I think it just comes down to, for some reason, that gun was just made better. You know, maybe that gun came off with brand new tooling. You know, maybe they put brand new tools on the machine and it's just goddamn perfect everywhere. Where the other guns, like, yeah, maybe the tools are a week old or something like that. And like the machining isn't like as precise. Because I have experienced that. And that's the only thing I can ever, you know, think about is just, you know, I don't know, this gun's just, maybe it's just made a little bit better. Because goddamn, that G7 shot so good. It was just like, not like the other guns. It's not like they were bad, but it was just like better. For some reason. Maybe your gun's just like that. If so, that's a good one. I miss selling that gun. I wish I didn't sell it. But I did. Ray says, I need more time with my MacDev Cyclone to make the final judgment. The Cyclone? Oh, the Cyclone. Yeah. I was like, I was like, that's the... Dude, I'm so bad with MacDev. That's the new, like, twister gun they did, right? Am I crazy? They came out, they just released, like, they, like, re-released... We had the freaking website. It might not even be on here, huh? The Cyborg X, there we go. I was missing the name. Oh, it is on here. I just figured they were all sold already, so they just wouldn't have them on here even. There she is. I've always really liked the ergonomics of these guns, though. I've always liked the ergos. We'll see what's going to happen, you know. I mean, MacDev was recently kind of purchased or something by John Brinkman, the owner of the Hurricanes, now new owner of Serial Killer and stuff. So they might go through like a, you know, big like switch around or something like that. Yep, Curtis. I believe so. I mean, I assume so. PB Vault. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have thoughts on PB Vault. I never... Oh, and the Sea Dogs are shooting MacDev too. Really? I didn't know that. Huh. Yeah, I've just never used PB Vault. I think it's a good idea. I mean, having a marketplace like that's cool. Yeah. It was something I thought about starting 10 years ago or something like that. My version was going to be called Second Paintball, though. You know, get it? It's like second hand. It's like used. Second Paintball. Didn't do it. It's just one of the many things that I've done and not, or started and not finished. Josh, it will be interesting to see a products Contract Killer will come out with. It is going to be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's just so different, you know, like everything's so different. I'm curious about like what it looks like because that traditional Contract Killer design, like let's go and type in Contract Killer. Oh God, Killer Paint. Jesus Christ. Contract Killer Paintball. Yeah, I mean, they just have like these kind of designs, and I would say that this kind of design and stuff is not very popular currently. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see just what they actually redesign. Because it did kind of sound like they were going to maybe stick with this kind of design. I don't know. Hopefully they don't and reevaluate that. That's about all. Do we think pod limit will trickle down to the lower divisions? Maybe. I think that's sort of what they're probably trying to do. I wish that, not wish, but I don't know. I think that's what they're trying to do, is see how well it works in the pro division and then see if the lower division teams are receptive to it. Because I think that in the lower divisions, you know, they really are the paying customers. You know, you think about the pro division and there's 20 teams. They pay entry just like all the other teams. But there's only 20, you know, and there's like 400 other, maybe not 400, like 200 and something other teams. So that's where the bulk of their money is coming from. So they really have to, like, I think, approach the divisional teams and the changes they do in the divisional series a little bit differently than they do the pros, right? Even though the pros, like I said, are paying to play, it's a little different. You know, they're going to play no matter what. Whereas, like, you know, if you're Division 3 and you're like, I don't want to play Unlimited Paint, maybe you'll just, you know, go play the USXBL or, you know, the MVPS or whatever it is. Play these divisional leagues that, you know, aren't limited paint and, you know, still have those older rules. So it's a very, like, sensitive thing they kind of have to do. And I think it will be all up to generally those divisional teams, whether they think it's a good idea or kind of don't think it's a good idea. But I also think that most people don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes you just gotta, okay, we don't care what you guys think. We're going to limited paint because it's the right answer. I don't know. I don't know if it is or isn't, you know, I don't know. But they could do it even though the teams don't really want it if it is a better choice. Because people just don't like change. They just don't like stuff that changes, you know? It could be like the best thing ever, and if it's different, people aren't going to like it. So, bring back 7-man. I agree. I like 7-man. I'm kind of with you on that. You should rank gun types from S to L tier. Autocockers to poppets. I guess I haven't done types. I haven't done exact types or whatever. There is this though. I saw someone said go to the website and look at the rankings or something. That is true. You can go like this, paintballruinedmylife.com. Go to the bottom, all the way to the bottom. You can go to paintball gun scores. Look at this. This is all the guns that I've like reviewed. Kinda. I mean, I didn't actually do an R5 review. That's true. I didn't do that either. But, you know, I've shot it and played with it and, you know, dicked around with it. But this is, you can see a total score over here and how I, like, rank them and all this shit. These are all the guns that I've reviewed. It doesn't have everything, you know. There's no autocockers, I don't think, on here or anything like that. It's just going to be, like, more modern stuff. We can obviously see that the Planet Eclipse are pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. I think the Etha 3M... Oh, the Etha 3M is all the way at the top. The Etha 3 made it right there. Where's the EMEC? I assumed the EMEC would be higher. I guess it's not. Because the EMEC doesn't have any features. You, like, can't do anything. It's like, it doesn't have anything customized. Well, you can customize it, but there's no settings or anything. It's just like you use it. So it's going to be pretty far down on that feature list. But there's other ones that are too, you know, all these kind of like basic guns. The Azoden Chaos 2? 44. It is kind of interesting. The Azoden guns are at the bottom. I like these guns. I really like these Tipman guns though. But, you know, they're not the greatest because there's just technically other better stuff. This is obviously all my opinion too, so it's not like, you know, just all me. Just making it up. Yeah, why did I put that? Let's look at the CS3. Why did I say the R5 over the CS3? So it's barely over. It just notches it over. It's probably because it's a little bit quieter. I think it's a little quieter. And then what else did we put? Ergonomics. Yeah, I think that the ergos, most people, and I kind of like take other people into account a little bit too. Like, I think that the R5 is a little bit long for some people. Feature-wise, it's not as good, I think, because you don't get that mechanical frame. It is a little bit cheaper, so it's probably a little bit of a better value. And I don't know, I put a 9 on desirability. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Maybe they're both 8 or something like that. But I kind of based that off like the interest when they first come out. Like people were really, really interested in that R5 when it came out, right? Like they really were interested. And the same with the CS2 because it was such a big departure from the CS1. CS3, not so much. As well as like, you know, you can see CS3 Pro on there too. So for sure, it's a little better in some of these categories. Faux show. What tanks do I like? You know, I don't know. I mean, obviously bottles are all the same. So like it's a bottle to me, but for sure, Powerhouse make the best regulators right now. I mean, there's no question that Powerhouse regs are the best, easily. So the Powerhouse regs are really good. I don't really like the pricing though. I really wish that, there was something that's like 125 or something like that was really good. We did get word a couple weeks ago that Ninja were supposedly starting production again. So hopefully we can see that Ninja Pro V3 regulator again in that, like, I don't know, 125 to 150 or something like that. Because the Powerhouse rigs are excellent. They're just kind of expensive. So I'd like to, see something a little cheaper. That's all. What makes a good regulator? I don't know. I can't tell you like what design is way better. I couldn't be like, well, they changed the angle of this by 2% and whatever. It makes stuff better. From my experience, the main thing that's making these regulators better is just quality. I mean, really. It's why Ninja, like when Ninja first came on the scene 15 years ago or something, they were hands down just better than everybody. I mean, the quality was better, the quality was more consistent, reg to reg, and they were just made really well, so you just don't have issues. And I think that's probably one of the biggest advantages or things that like at least make some of the regulators better. Like those Powerhouse regulators, they're just made very well. They're probably not necessarily performance-wise that much different. I think that the Ninja stuff or even the basic tank regulators, just the standard tank regulators, are probably performance-wise very similar, but they're probably not in the long run going to be as reliable or as durable or as easy to fix as, like, say, those Powerhouse regulators or even the Ninja regulators from the past. So, yeah. Wait, you're sponsored by Carbon now. Well, yeah, the channel's sponsored by Carbon. I wouldn't say me, but I guess kind of. I mean, whatever, It is great. It is fantastic. I've always liked Carbon. So, I mean, they've helped this channel for a very long time. I mean, for sure. They sent me, like, knee pads 8 years ago or whatever it was when I started this channel to review, and they've sent me stuff, and they've always been helpful, so for sure. And they make actually good stuff, so it's not hard to say they make my favorite mask. I can't say my favorite hopper. I probably will say my favorite hopper. I just haven't really used the thing yet, so it's like... I really want to test the speed. What's kind of cool about the DRV hopper is that it can feed so goddamn fast. So I'm kind of curious about that. I saw like a thing float for the game. Chris, stainless steel threads are also really cool for sure. I actually prefer brass, but that's a whole nother thing. No one's really doing that anymore. I prefer the brass regulators. We're talking about high fashion. That was a while ago. Curtis, just make sure you're clean and maintain your reg. Pretty much. I mean, let's look at something here. Show you guys something. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can. Oops. Dock. Jesus Christ, what is going on here? Dock Fire Paintball Reg Test. So this is a Dock Fire. He did a way long video though. So we did a thing with tank regs. Old, I don't know. Tank reg shootout number 1. I would go listen to him talk. Oops. Garrett's super smart and been fixing paintball equipment and paintball guns for a long time. I know him in real life. He's a great dude and knows what he's talking about. And he built, man, it's been a long time, but he built like this thing that he could test regulators with. There's just so many of his videos. There's somewhere in here. I remember it being like really long though. Tank rig. Jesus Christ. I mean, there's this big, huge thing. These are all inline rigs though. Maybe it's just this video. But I want to see like the deal thing he built. God damn it. These all say old though. Why do they say old? Part 2? Maybe this is it. Garrett, your videos are crazy labeled. Yeah, so look at this. He built like this. He talks about, and I know he showed the like dyno thing he was using, but he did all these tests and all this like crazy data to try to figure out like which regulator was the most consistent. And I'm pretty sure in his conclusion, so CP tank reg, in his conclusion, I think he came to the conclusion that the standard Empire tank reg, this one right here, compared to Powerhouse, CP, Immortal Air, and then that Ninja, whichever Ninja tank. The standard inline tank rig, like this one right here, ended up being the most consistent. Which is crazy. So like, what's this right here? So we have all those tank rigs on the right, the velocity, rise. Dude, this is a bunch of fucking shit I don't really understand. But he has this like digital gauge he like hooked up to it and stuff. Anyway, I always bring him up when I'm like, you know, tank regs, I don't know. They're kind of very similar. Garrett's great, shout out. So, anyway, all right, I'm getting out of here. Ladies, go over there and watch Doc Fire videos. Why is the chat like not updating? Unless I'm like in the past, that's why. Thoughts on, Mark, what'd you say? Gravity hoppers are all you, gang leader. Gravity hoppers? I don't know what's going on. Thoughts on changing 3-man format to 4-man? I don't know. Well, I think 3-man's cool because like the whole point of 3-man, to me at least, is lower divisions, right? Like we're seeing like D6 and like, you know, Young Guns 3-man and stuff like that. So one of the cool things about 3-man is you only gotta have 3 guys. You know, you gotta find 2 people. 4-man, you start finding 3 more people, and then you might as well just play 5-man, you know? So I like 3-man because the barrier to entry is a little bit lower than 5-man. Yeah, I like 3-man. Although 4 would be cool. I mean, how about we switch 5 to 4? I'd be more interested in that. Like playing 4-man instead of 5-man. I'd be more interested in thinking about that. Because I do like the 3-man for, you know, the kids and stuff. It just is a little easier. And it's easier to play, you know, you only have 3 people shooting at you versus 4. So when you're newer, it's just a little bit simpler too. I like going 5-man to 4-man personally, so. All right, guys, I'm closing the chat. I'm not reading it anymore. Or I'll just keep reading it and never go away. CCM Brian, there we go. Yeah, come back next week. Hopefully we're going to have the Lux Air in hand, and we'll do like a disassembly or, you know, whatever we call that. What the hell is this thing? Kind of interested. You know, the Lux Air, I've not been a Lux fan ever. Although they keep growing on me. You know, they keep getting a little more reliable and kind of like just way better. You know, the Luxes have gotten way better. I mean, the TM40 is probably when they started to be better in my eyes because they got more reliable. So I'm definitely interested in the Air. They changed so much on it. I'm curious how it shoots and, you know, just what it's like. So hopefully next week, next Monday, if not, you know, the week after that or something, we should have one soon. It's just kind of dependent on if they're all sold out, if we can get our hands on one or what the deal is. So Lux Air next week, hopefully. The Method guys sold me on the Air. It should be sweet. I really do kind of like it. So we'll find out. Told you guys I wasn't going to read the chat. I don't know. Enjoy the night. Stay young. And stay young. I don't know. Okay, guys. Come back next week, and I appreciate everyone who's coming by. Make sure you leave a like before you leave. You know, like the live stream, and we will